Pretty Hair Restorative Hair Complex is here. I'm so excited to bring a product to the market that actually works. For years, women have been experiencing hair loss due to braids and weaves that were installed improperly and that were causing stress to the hairline. We are team edges at Pretty Hair. We want you to have your hairline. We want you to have versatility in the way that you wear weaves if that's what you choose to do. But we don't want you to have to wear weaves. And that's what has happened. Women have been damaging their hair with chemical processes at home or with incompetent stylists, or they've been installing braids that have ripped out their entire hairline. Micro braids were beautiful in the early 2000s. Well, by 2005, women didn't have a hairline anymore. We've been saying, where are my edges? Bring back my edges. And it started out as really kind of a joke. And then you realize with the number of clients that we see in the salon, this is an epidemic. Women don't have their hairline anymore. How could this be happening? So I worked with a dermatologist and a chemist to develop something that could grow back the hairline, that we could restore the hair follicle, the damaged cuticle could be restored, and not only that, we would see significant hair growth. We tested a product over and over again. What active ingredient do we need? What has to happen here? This is not working. And it took almost 6 months for us to get the compound right. And once we did, we saw results immediately. It was astounding how quickly the hair started to come back. Women were skeptical at first, but we had clients who hadn't had hair in places for over 4 years. And that's devastating for a woman. For you to have to wear a wig, for you to have to wear something that makes you not feel like yourself. And we knew something had to happen, something had to be developed. Rogaine and a lot of the over-the-counter products, they would grow their hair back, but they were growing hair in places that they weren't interested in having hair. Some women said, I have a full goatee. That's never cute. So Pretty Hair is just about that. We think that if you look pretty, you are beautiful inside and out, but if you look good, you feel good, and that's what's most important. We wanted to give women their confidence back, and the Restorative Hair Complex has done that. And not only did it bring back your edges, it has brought in your hairline and your cortex, the crown of a woman's head. We had women that could no longer wear a weave because they had hair. They had no hair to cover their tracks. So they had to wear something that looked like a wig to them, and they weren't happy about it. They didn't have versatility. These are young women. These are women in their early 30s that felt like they looked like their grandmother. They were unhappy about it, and they felt like no one was listening to them. They'd gone to doctors, they'd gone to all sorts of hair club systems and said that they didn't feel like themselves when they did it. They still felt like they were held hostage to their hair or a wig. And that's something that I wasn't going to sit still about, because I'm in the business of beauty. I've been in this business for over 20 years. I've been a practicing stylist for almost 20 years. And I've never seen the number of women who have lost their hair at the rate that they have by doing things at home. Some of them have been doing their hair at home because they were suffering in silence. They didn't want anyone to know. They were embarrassed.
I have been experiencing hair loss for the past, about the past 7 to 8 years now. My hair started thinning probably about 7 or 8 years ago. Losing my hair was very traumatic, and it just made me feel insecure about myself. You know, a woman's hair is her glory. And if you have no glory, you know, I didn't feel attractive. I started feeling old and just questioned everything. You know, what am I doing wrong, and how am I not taking care of my hair? What's going on? Didn't know what was going on with me. And tried every hair care product out there that you would think of, and it just, nothing worked. When I started balding, I started going to, well, initially I started going to Hair Club, and that didn't really work for me. You know, it's a great system, you know, a great organization, but it didn't work for me. I'm a head sweater, and not being able to really clean my scalp the way that I wanted to, and the product that they used irritated my scalp. The smell was horrible. They would use this polyurethane substance with hair coming out of it to cover your scalp, and it's like glued to your scalp. Well, that glue was very messy, and with me being a head sweater, sweat, dead skin cells will accumulate, but I couldn't scratch my scalp. I couldn't wash my scalp. You would wash the product, the hair, the polyurethane, but it didn't reach your scalp. So I spent about $800 a month using weaves and using wigs. Nothing allowed my scalp really to breathe. And the problem with using wigs or buying wigs, I was buying a new wig about every month, because once it stretched, it didn't have that fresh look. And once you wash it, you know, just over-the-counter wigs, what I would call over-the-counter wigs, they didn't hold up very well. So I was paying about another $75 to $100 monthly buying wigs. I looked like my grandmother, and my grandmother's beautiful, but I didn't want to look old. I went to dermatologists, I went to doctors to see what was going on with me. The first dermatologist that I went to when my hair first started thinning, he told me that I was pulling my hair, that I had an anxiety disorder, and I told him I don't have an anxiety disorder. I know, you know, the condition that you're thinking of, but it's not me. I don't pull my hair. So I didn't go back to another dermatologist for about 4 or 5 years. You know, he frustrated me so badly. And I finally, you know, said, okay, my hair is continuing to thin at the crown of my head. I need to know what is going on with me. So I went to another dermatologist, and they did a scalp biopsy, which is where they cut a piece of your scalp and they send it for testing. And it came back that I had CCF alopecia, which is central alopecia. And that was all they could tell me. And I said, great, okay, I have this CCF alopecia, what do we do? And the response was, I don't know. They started giving me steroid injections in my scalp, and that the injections were not to bring the hair back, it was to delay the rest of your hair falling out. Injections were painful. It would make me feel like my scalp was on fire. I did think of doing a hair transplant. I actually met with 2 different specialists, and I was so glad that they were very honest with me. You know, they questioned, of course, my medical history, and discovered that there is a history of lupus in my family, and because I am type 2 diabetes, the doctors were both, 2 different doctors both told me they would be glad to take my money, but I would be paying about $15,000 to $20,000, and it's not guaranteed that the procedure would work, but they told me if it did work, I would be back every 2 to 3 years because, you know, with this condition, my hair is gonna fall out. I'm gonna lose it. Well, the Pretty Hair Restorative Hair Complex worked for me by bringing my hair back. I called Maya one day. I was in the grocery store and looking at all of this natural hair care product, and I thought, I have spent tons of money. I'm tired of going through this. I don't feel like a woman. When I finished my doctoral program and was in Atlanta in about 10 years ago, I took care of my hair then. I was not having any hair loss, and nothing was going on with my scalp. It was about 7 or 8 years ago that I started having problems, and she just couldn't believe that I'm having hair loss and that I was looking like George Jefferson with the male pattern baldness. So she wanted to see a picture of it. She didn't believe me. I snapped her a picture that evening and sent it to her, and she's like, oh my God, Karen, what happened? And I started telling her my story. I don't know. And I've been to all of these doctors, used all of this stuff, gone to hair clubs, spent all of this money, but this is the end result. And so Maya told me about a product that she was developing to bring back hair that was lost on the edges from weaves. And I told her, Maya, I will be your guinea pig. Let me see if it will work for the rest of my scalp. And she sent it. I got it about 3 days later. She, expressed it to me, and it really hasn't even been 90 days, and my hair is coming back. Less than 90 days, my hair it's back. It started out as a peach fuzz, and it stayed the little peach fuzz syndrome for a long time. And I thought, okay, this is not going to work. And then, I just kept with it. I stuck with the product and kept using it. And one morning I woke up and I'm like, hey, I have hair up there. And couldn't believe it, One other product did show some results for me, and that was Rogaine. But the Rogaine also put hair on my face. I had a mustache and sideburns, and I'm like, okay, this is not going to work. After the first time I got waxed in my face and the pain from that, I said, it's not worth it. It's just not going to work. But the restorative hair therapy is putting the hair where it's supposed to be, on the top of my head.
With the Pretty Hair Restorative Hair Complex, you will no longer be held hostage to a wig. If you want a wig, we will make a custom wig for you at Pretty Hair, one that fits your face, one that allows you to have versatility, but when you're using the product, you have the freedom to use it as generously as you need to. You have a 30-day supply of this product. Every 30 days, you'll have to reorder. That's because we want to keep the price down. We want to make it affordable for women. But we also want you to realize that you're going to see the growth. You know that you're using it properly. In 30 days, if you still have some left, that means that you're not using the product properly. You need to be committed to your hair regrowth. And that's why we have a system in place for you. You can go on our website and get more information, and you can share your story with other women so that they know that they no longer have to suffer in silence. We have a sisterhood that it's amazing how many women can feel empowered if they know that they're not going through this alone. So we are Team Edges. We're saving edges all around the world, and I'm so excited to bring you a product that you can afford. Go on our website, www.prettyhairnow.com, and we mean that now. You're going to get your hair back now. It's not going to be a year from now when you see results. In 30 days, you're going to see your edges. Thank you.
The Restorative Hair Complex has given me the freedom from wigs that never looked like me. The Restorative Hair Complex has given me back my life.